My child, there is an anger in you that you have not known how to name. You have called it tiredness. You have called it stress. You have called it being fine. But I have seen the dark room where that anger sits, and I am bringing a light to its door. Right now, as I speak, I want that first light to find the corner you have kept the curtain drawn over. John, chapter 1, verse 5, says it this way: "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." That line was settled in my word long before your name was spoken, and I'm setting it into your hands now, like steadier ground than you have been able to build for yourself. Stay near me while I form these words. Nothing is being asked of you yet. There is no face to fix, no voice to steady, no need to arrive here calmer than you are. Notice how the sun never strains to rise. It does not grit its teeth against the horizon. It does not demand that the night surrender first. It simply comes because it was always coming, and the dark gives way without a fight. That is the kind of nearness I am bringing toward you. Not a peace you manufacture by clenched will. Not a peace you talk yourself into and lose again by noon. A dawn that touches one thing at a time until the whole room remembers its color. I see you. I know the heat behind your eyes that you have been calling tiredness, because tiredness is an easier word to say than anger. The conversation you keep rehearsing with someone who is not even in the room. I have heard every round of it. The comeback that arrived 3 hours too late and has been circling ever since. I know how it loops. None of this is small to me. None of it is hidden. There is a chair in your house now that resentment sits in every evening, a guest who showed up years ago and never left. The quiet bitterness you feel towards someone who hurt you and never apologized, never paid for a thing. I have felt the cold of it on your hands. A grudge you have rehearsed so many times it no longer needs you to summon it has begun to summon you instead. Your jaw sets before you have even decided to be upset. The short fuse you did not have a few years ago surprises everyone but me. I have known you longer than your anger has, and I am not standing over you with folded arms while you sort it out. I am close, closer than the resentment. The mother who lost her patience again and went to bed ashamed of her own raised voice, I am near to her, and I am not keeping the tally she keeps. The father carrying a slow burn toward a son who walked out and never wrote, who has rehearsed both the lecture and the embrace and does not know which one would come if the door ever opened. That fire has not made him unlovable to me. A coldness crept into a marriage, one unspoken offense at a time, and somewhere along that slow drift, the room stopped feeling warm. The friend who betrayed you still lives rent-free in a back room of your mind, and you have given them more of your hours since the betrayal than you ever gave them before it. Some of you are angry at people who earned it. Some of you are angry at people already gone, where the anger has nowhere left to land. And some of you, this is the one you have been most afraid to say out loud, some of you are angry at me. You prayed, and the answer did not come the way you needed. You did everything right, and it broke anyway. You watched people who never thought about me at all sail straight through the thing that shattered you. Bring that to me too. Bring it exactly as it is. I would rather hold your honest anger than your polished silence. The honest one I can meet you inside of and stay near. The polished one only hardens. Look at what the long night has actually been made of. Not one wound. 100 small refusals to look up. You woke. You braced. You scrolled past your own life. You measured the day by how much it might cost you. There was a moment last week, you may not remember it, when you opened a note on your phone to write down something honest about how you felt, and you deleted it because the words looked too bare on the screen. There was a prayer you started and trimmed down to a sigh, because the full version felt like too much to admit. None of that lowered you in my eyes. I was reading the part you almost did not write. I was leaning close to catch the line you erased. This is the thing I most want you to know early, before the rest. The promise I am bringing into your night is not a changed circumstance on a schedule you choose. I am not handing you a date. I am not telling you the person will call, or the situation will turn, or the loss will be repaid by some particular morning. I make a deeper promise, and it is the one that holds. Peace that does not depend on the weather of your life. Forgiveness that reaches the part of you that still flinches. My nearness, steady, in the dark and in the light. Those are not maybes. Those are settled. Everything else is held in hands far kinder than fear has let you believe. Notice with me what the anger has quietly been doing while it told you it was protecting you. It narrows your day. It decides which streets you will not drive down. It picks which names can spoil a good hour. It made you flinch at a ringtone. It made you brace at a knock. It taught you to read insult into a message that meant nothing of the kind. The people who never hurt you have been getting the leftover version of you. The half-clenched one. The one already braced before they speak. I am not pointing at this to shame you. I am pointing at a wound so I can reach it. The one the anger has cost the most is not the person you are angry at. They moved on. You stayed behind to guard a fire that only burns the one still holding it. Here is what almost no one says to you, so let me be the one. You did not become bitter because something is broken at the center of you. You became angry because someone you trusted hurt you. And a wounded heart does exactly what a wounded heart is built to do. It tries to keep you from being hurt that way again. The shame you feel about still being angry is a second darkness stacked on the first, and I want it gone as much as I want the first one gone. You are not failing at being a good person. You are tired. There is a difference, and I have always known which one you are. Let this settle slowly, because it is going to change how you see the whole thing. Your anger was not the enemy at the beginning. It did not start as sin. It started as a guard. Something in you stood up when you were small and could not protect yourself and said, "This is wrong. This should not be happening to me." That guard kept a part of you alive through seasons no one witnessed. When you had no one to defend you, the anger defended you. I am not asking you to be ashamed of it. I am telling you something gentler and harder than that. The guard has finished the work it was hired to do. It is still standing watch over a gate that no longer needs guarding in a war that ended a long time ago. And the standing has begun to cost you more than the threat ever did. It cannot tell time. It does not know the night is over. The dawn does not need a sentry on the wall. Let it sit down now. It is allowed. The watch is over. Somewhere you came to believe a lie so quietly, you never noticed you agreed to it. You decided that setting the anger down would mean telling everyone who hurt you that what they did was fine, that they got away with it, that you surrendered. So you keep it. You feed it. You polish it and give it respectable names, so you never have to question it. You call it justice. You call it boundaries. You call it being realistic about people. And underneath all those reasonable names is one quiet fear, and it is the real reason the anger has stayed so long. If you stop being angry, you think, no one will ever stand up for you, and the wound will go unanswered forever. The anger feels like the only advocate you have left. To put it down feels like lying down in the middle of the road. There is a second fear underneath, just as quiet, and I want to name it too. You believe the anger keeps the memory accurate. You tell yourself that if the heat ever cooled, you might forget what was done. You might soften. You might be foolish enough to let it happen again. So you keep the fire lit on purpose, like a vigil. But anger is a poor historian. It does not preserve the truth. It sharpens it into a blade, and the blade turns inward. The longer you hold it, the less you remember the actual day. You remember only the ache. You think you are keeping watch. You are rereading the same dark page until the words mean nothing but how much they hurt. I can keep the record far better than your bitterness can. I have never confused justice with rage. and I will not let what was done to you be forgotten, least of all by me. Let me take that fear apart, thread by thread, because it is the bolt holding the door shut against the morning. Forgiveness was never me asking you to call the darkness light. It was never me telling you the betrayal was acceptable or the abandonment fair. I saw all of it. I keep more careful records of what was done to you than you do. Every closed door, every broken promise, every moment you were made small by someone who should have made you safe. None of it has been lost, and none of it has been excused. Setting down your anger is not erasing the offense from the record. It is handing the record to the one who can actually do something with it. Right now you are holding two roles at once. They were never meant to be carried by the same person. You are holding the wound, and you are also trying to be the judge, the jury, and the one who carries out the sentence. No one can hold all of that and stay whole. It is not the memory that drains you. It is the verdict you keep trying to enforce with no power to enforce it. Every time you replay what they did, you reconvene the trial. You call the same witnesses. You give the same closing argument to an empty room. A real judge gets to go home at night. You have not. You sleep in the gallery. You eat your meals at the bench. And the one you convicted is not even there serving the sentence. Only you are, serving it for them, day after day. Give the case back to me. You were built to be the one who is healed. You were never built to be the courtroom. The picture you carry of me does not help. So let me deal with it plainly. You imagine me a little disappointed that you still struggle to forgive. Tapping a foot. Glancing at the clock to see how long you are taking. Comparing you to people who seem to let things go so easily. The version of me you inherited was painted by people, not by me. People who used my name to rush your grief because your pain made them uncomfortable. People who handed you a verse like a stick and told you to hit yourself with it. They were wrong, even the ones who loved you. Set that picture down where you are sitting and leave it there. I do not rush a sunrise. I have never once pushed the dawn to arrive before its time, and I will not rush you. Here is something to do right where you are, small enough that you can do it without moving. Lift your eyes toward where the light comes from.